It's time to make a YouTube video. Actually, I'm a day late, but I kind of like made one on Wednesday because I was on the Drunken Peasants for 3 hours. It's a really cool interview, and I'll have a link to my webpage where you can check it out, where I talked about a lot of important stuff. What somebody commented at the bottom of my last video, and he said, it's a shame that you don't have a car. You could possibly rent one, and we miss not seeing, video footage of you going out on the town and stuff. I will say this much, for those who are my Patreon supporters and get my walk videos. Oh yeah, I'm eating breakfast right now. Here's my breakfast. I have stuff like this every day. I actually got a box from my Medicare plan, right? Where they gave me a bunch of free pears, oranges, and stuff. But I always have strawberries and blueberries and oranges for breakfast with probiotic yogurt and walnuts every morning. And then I mix in some cooked oatmeal. So yeah, that's my typical breakfast. And usually I'll have a piece of chocolate too, like a piece of dark cacao chocolate. Now that's what I forgot to do. I'll do that later. He said it's a shame there's like you can rent cars to own them. Jesus would not be cool with that. I can tell you that right now if he was here. And I don't want my Gale Shield to get weak. I actually can afford to get a car if I really needed one. But I don't think it would be wise. You see, I actually had a perfectly functional car that actually got me here to where I'm at, to Alabama from Florida. And within 2 months after I moved here, Baphomet, the goat from hell, ejaculated in all the holes of the car. Yes, he ejaculated in the gasoline lines, the oil lines. One of the first things I noticed was my windshield wiper fluid thing was clogged, and I thought, this is strange. It was working fine in Florida, and I figured, okay, well, I don't have to have that. I can just clean my windshield, wipe it down with Windex or whatever, and paper towels. But let me tell you what I started getting worried about. All of a sudden, I noticed that my brakes, which were fine in Florida, all of a sudden, when I was hitting them, they were going all the way down to the floor. No, the brakes were shot. And I mentioned this to my men, and they said, as far as we know, your brake system should be fine. And the red brake light kept coming on when I was driving, Finally, one morning, I got in the car. The brakes went all the way down to the floor, no resistance at all. I said, I'm not going to drive. I said, the only thing stopping this car, and I was going slow, is it's hitting the brake drum. There is nothing. There's no resistance. So I went back on Skype and I talked to Zach and I said, that car is not safe to drive. And he says, from what you've told me, sounds right. Yeah, you better not drive. So what I did from that point forward, at that point I had not explored the bus systems. That would have been about March 2022. I've just noticed there was a grocery store walking distance from me, so I decided I would just get all my stuff from there. And and I hate to drive in this town anyway. I had a really close call when I first moved here, where the roads here are rather narrow and they're hilly, okay? And people drive like crazy here. I mean, it's like they're all speeding. I was stopped. Okay, I was at an intersection, sort of like an intersection, and I was going to pull off into a street, and this big, huge Big Mac, like big rig, just kind of whooshed around, and I mean, I was in a little Hyundai Elantra, okay? That thing just whooshed around. But let me tell you, that thing was so big, it wouldn't have mattered if I was in a big car or a little car. If it had hit me, I would have been in trouble. okay? And it just missed hitting me. Now this was a situation where I have no, I mean, I stopped at that intersection. How was I to know that a big rig would come whooshing around and just miss hit? You see what I'm talking about? This is why I do not like cars. If you're stuck inside the car and the other driver is doing something crazy, you are at the mercy of the other driver. That is what I hate about driving. Yeah. At least if you're a pedestrian, it's a little easier to escape if you see somebody crazy coming your way. Yeah. But if you're inside of a car and you're in the middle of traffic, you're stuck. That's why I do not like cars right now. In my opinion, it probably would not be safe for me to drive until we defeat the Jesuits. I really feel that way. Yeah. They're obsessed with me. I mean, as soon as I go out the door, like, you might say, well, it's not safe as a pedestrian either. Well, to be honest with you, because of the way Jesuits are, it's not safe, period. I mean, but you can't lock yourself up in your house all day, okay? You got to go out and live life. You got to go get your food. You got to do what you got to. I have to do the Gale commandments. I'm not going to let them. And besides, you're not even safe in your house. They've tried to shoot missiles here. So the only thing you can do is do the Gale commandments. I figure since I have to do the Gale commandments anyway, Jesus told me a half an hour walk every day outdoors unless it's raining or the weather's really bad. Delicious breakfast. Might as well do it shopping. So I shop every day just about. Kind of like how they do in a lot of other countries like Japan and Europe. They shop for food just about every day. Yeah, I'm getting along fine without a car. You might say, well, you sure complained about the bus system on your last video. When I rode the buses a year ago, it was fun. And they're still kind of fun. The only reason the buses are starting to get crappy now is because Lizzo has infiltrated the bus system, okay? Believe you me, if I bought a car, she could do the same thing with my driving experience. If I bought a car, how much you want to bet within a month Baphomet would ejaculate in all the holes of the car, and God knows that could be $18,000 down the drain. I mean, yeah, what I had to do with the last car, he ejaculated in the gas lines, the oil lines, basically any lines that had liquids, okay? He ejaculated in them. I call it a he because it has a very damaging penis, okay? I call Baphomet the goat monstrosity from hell, okay? The ugliest thing I ever saw. Yeah. I mean, goodness, why would anybody want to have a combination of boobs and a penis? How stupid, I don't get these people. So anyways, yeah, he destroyed the fuel lines, the oil lines, basically destroying my engine. The AC was destroyed because he ejaculated in all the lines in the AC system. Yeah. My men told me your car is so damaged because of semen being in your oil, in your gasoline, in your windshield wiper fluid, in anything that had liquids. Just sell it for parts, and that's what I did. I sold the car for parts. Fortunately, I only paid a couple $1,000s for the car, and I bought it used. Can you imagine what a financial loss I would sustain if I had bought that car maybe close to maybe it cost me $15,000, okay? And then Baphomet ejaculates in all the lines. Nobody's going to buy the car. And if I was an ethical person, I wouldn't sell it either. Yeah, so that would be $15,000 down the drain. So that's why I don't have a car. You might say, well, people need a car. I'm getting along pretty good without a car. Yeah. Actually, in the United States and in much of the world, you can get along without a car if you live in a big city with good public transportation. It's the country people that need a car because they're kind of far away from all the grocery stores and everything. But if you live in a big city, in most big cities, you can get along without a car, especially if you're kind of centrally located, like I am. And to be honest with you, even though Lizzo is attempting to screw up my bus system and make life more difficult for me. I mean, I actually am in an ideal location, centrally located, easy access to all my favorite stores. Basically, what she's done is she seems to have infiltrated the bus system here where I can still survive without a car. It's just that a lot of my favorite stores, I'll probably have to do more walking now. Yeah, that's the main difference. Yeah. But believe you me, if you think my life would be easier with a car, I don't think so. Okay, here's my homemade milk chocolate. What I do is I get non-fat dry milk, then I mix it with dark cacao, almost 100% cacao chocolate and sugar and all together. And it's delicious. I love it. My own homemade milk chocolate. Oh, I'm not suffering. Over here, I've got kefir, Lifeway plain kefir, and I put in a little bit of blueberry simply because I'm trying to spare the calories, right? I don't want to look like Lizzo. Yeah. I have nothing against obese fat people, okay? She actually has more of a problem with her weight than I do. But what I have a problem with is if I'm not interested in adopting somebody's lifestyle, they have no right to force their lifestyle on me, okay? I actually enjoy a lot of healthy food. I mean, I think I got to admit, you can tell I like my fruit, but I enjoy a lot of healthy food. I've got orange wedges in here, probiotic yogurt on the advice of my husband because I was having some gastrointestinal issues a couple years ago. The way to solve my problem here is not by not by quitting the buses and getting a car. That's not the solution. In fact, I think that would make my life worse. I would probably be in financial trouble simply because I would have depleted all my savings to get a car, and that way I wouldn't have savings for a true emergency. I mean, the worst that's going to happen right now, let me tell you, the biggest problem that I'm having is that Lizzo Jesuits have infiltrated the bus system here, okay? I guarantee you if I got a car and I started driving, she'd be sending her driver agents out there and trying to get me in an accident. And as crazy as Lizzo Jesuits are, she might succeed. They drive, I already told you what happened to me one time. If I got in a car accident, I could become physically disabled. I guarantee you, especially, nah, forget it. You might say, well, you could get hit by a car. I'm more worried about getting in a car accident as a car owner than I am getting hit by a car. At least as a pedestrian, I have some control. If I get in a bad situation, I can run. I can even jump on top of the car if they, I mean, but if you're in a car, okay? If you're in a car and there's another crazy car coming towards you, you're stuck, man. You're on the road. You can't move. You're helpless. I don't like it. It makes me very nervous. And these Lizzo Jesuits are crazy. They drive like maniacs. No. My men have determined that they think right now in my present situation, I'm better off without a car. You might say, well, they screwed up your bus system. Well, let me just tell you, okay? Here's what I'm planning on doing. come mid-January, if they don't, if they don't listen to me and they just continue Route 9 and Route 8, the way that where it was real easy for me to get to the Walmart's really close to me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch Route 8, get off at the bus stop that's 10 minutes from my Walmart, walk to that Walmart for 10 minutes, and then just walk all the way back. Which means I'll have about a 45-minute walk for that day. Whereas before I could do it in 25 minutes, walk. Before I started riding the buses, I was walking 35 to 40 minutes one way to get to the nearest Walmart Supercenter, and then 35 to 40 minutes the way back. And about an hour and a half walk. My feet were a little sore, but I didn't die, okay? And I got to have a little fun exploring my area. And then it occurred to me, why don't you try the buses? And then I figured, hey, the buses are even easier. So what I could do is come up with a compromise. You say, what about the dogs? Well, they're on the other side of the street. And it's really funny. When I first started walking to this Walmart, there were no dogs. These are all problems that Lizzo has created. I really believe this. She's just trying to mess up the Gale commandments for me, trying to mess up my walks, and I'm not going to let her do it. Okay? Where there's a will, there's a way. Let me just tell you what happened to me recently. She's been sending smoker agents to the downtown bus transfer center. And I think she's getting some higher ups in the bus system too. Because I think a lot of these ideas for the new routes are coming from Lizzo herself. And she's working with some patsy who's in charge of planning the routes to try to mess up my bus adventures. There's 2 Walmarts near me. One of them I may almost have to eliminate going to if they put the new changes in. If I'm willing to walk 40 minutes one way and 40 minutes all the way back, yeah. If you say, why don't you just take the bus? It would be better just to walk. The way the buses would be set up, it would be stupid for me to take the bus. I'd be going left, east. I could walk and get there sooner than if I took the bus. Yeah. Be about an hour and a half of walking. Yeah. And it would probably be safer because the walk route there is all sidewalk, okay? If I took the bus, I'd have to take non-sidewalk. Some of the areas not sidewalk. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like walking on the edge of the road. I like to give myself a little bit of space if I can between me and the traffic, okay? Like a sidewalk, I'm getting along. Anyway, I'm getting off the subject. So I went to the downtown transfer center, okay? And there are 2 routes, 2 and 4, that have these big buses. And they're in a transition phase right now where the bigger buses do not fit in the current terminal. So they have to drop people off and pick people at a sidewalk that's a little further away from the main bus platform. And the smokers are using this as an excuse to go to town at the bus transfer center. Yeah. Let me tell you what happened to me the other day. I was going to take Route 2, which is one of the bigger buses, okay? So it's out there. I smelled a little bit of smoke, and I looked around. I thought, oh, there's one guy out there. I said, one. Okay, I can deal with one. Okay, that's normal. Well, lo and behold, within 10 minutes, 9 people lit up, including one little lady in a handicapped scooter, several older blacks, some young blacks, some white people, about 10 people. I've never seen 10 people. This bus, and about 20 people were going to board the bus, okay? 10 of those 20 were smoking. I told Brent, there are Lizzo Jesuits here. That is too many, okay? Half of them were smoking. I said, Brent, there's Lizzo Jesuits here. I just said it right out loud. And one lady came to me, she said, well, if you don't, I said, yeah, it's kind of funny that we got so many that have to ride this bus when I'm boarding because they know I'm getting on. And look how many of them are smoking. Lizzo Jesuits. And one older black lady said, if you don't like a crowd, then you should go get a car. I said, you don't tell me what to do. So she was smoking too. She was smoking. And I said, no, it's not the crowd. It's the fact that everybody is smoking. I said, this is ridiculous. Like half of you all are smoking. She said, well, there's nowhere else to smoke. I said, deal with those Lizzo Jesuits, Brent. This is ridiculous. Yeah, I wanted to take Route 2 because that takes me out to the Asian store, okay? Normally, when I would get on Route 2, yeah, they're not allowed to smoke on the platform, but now they are. I guess they're, yeah, just all of them, all different races, all different ages, they're all smoking, you know? Yeah, it used to be that if they smoked on the platform, usually a bus driver would go over to them. So you might say, oh, well, if you had a car, you wouldn't have to deal with that. You know, I'm not going to let the Lizzo Jesuits screw this up for me. Oh, yeah, I probably wouldn't have to deal with smoke. I'd probably have to deal with being crippled for life after I got in a major accident. That'd be worse. Yeah. Yeah, if I had a car, yeah. Yeah, that's what I predict would happen. They'd probably total my car, and I'd end up in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. Yeah, that really sounds like the solution to my problems, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So I thought, okay, I know how I'm going to deal with this. Let's have some fun, Brent. So I told Brent, I happen to know these buses really well. So I thought, well, apparently the bus executives are kind of pushing it. They know I don't like to smoke. The ones that are working for Lizzo, I mean. Not all of them are. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe they are. And so I thought, okay. But they haven't been brazen enough yet where they're smoking on the bus. Actually, there's a state law that I think where they're not allowed to smoke in public transportation. So they could get in big trouble if they do that. So I thought, okay, I know how to. Since they all want to smoke outside the bus, I know how to solve this problem. So I told Brent, I said, you know those gas masks you bought me? I might go show you what those gas masks look like. This is gonna be kind of funny, but this is what I plan on doing here. Let me show you. So, oh my goodness. Yeah. My men, they bought me this gas mask to deal with fat chicks' farts, you know, because those fat chick farts make you retarded. You said, do they really? Yeah, they do. They do. He said, why aren't you worried about that? Well, I talked about it with drunken peasants. So this is what you have to use if you don't want to get sick, retarded from a fat chick's fart. This is a bona fide gas mask. So I thought, hey, you know, I've never really used this. He said, are you worried about fat chicks' farts? I am not. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. He said, why not? Because Brent's semen undoes the retardation that I could get from a fat chick's woman's fart. And I get plenty of that, so I'm not worried about it. But here's my strategy. I thought, hey, these are gas masks. Wouldn't this work on cigarette smoke? So here's what I plan on doing. Well, first of all, if I can, I'm going to try to catch the bus in a manner where I'm not forced to smell the smoke. So I know Route 2. I know the route. I've been on it several times. I thought, ooh, I know what I can do. I will catch Route 10 really close to me. Get off at a stop that's on Route 2. I can catch it. It's an early stop, kind of at the beginning of its route. And then catch Route 2 after it's left the transfer center and the smokers are on the bus but not smoking. So that's what I did yesterday. I caught the bus after it left the transfer center. I asked the Route 10 bus driver, can I get a transfer slip since my main reason for going this way is to avoid the smokers at the transfer center because there were 10 of them. I was smoking outside of the Route 2 bus and I just don't want to smell that stinking smoke. And I told Brent, every time I ride the bus, I want to be on the news. Have the news team film me so we can show what these stinking Lizzo Jesuits are doing and what a pain in the butt they're being, how they're all being a bunch of assholes and, yeah. She is deliberately telling people to smoke to try to make my bus trips unpleasant. And the smoke may also have mites in it. So here's what I plan on doing. When I go to the bus stop, if the smoke becomes unbearable, I'm going to don this right there at the bus terminal. And I'm going to be on camera because the news people will be with me. And so what they'll do is they'll pan and take footage of everybody smoking around me, and everybody's going to know why I have to wear this at the bus terminal to catch the bus. And we're also going to do scans to determine which of the smokers is a Lizzo Jesuit. So the news people are going to be filming everybody. Yeah, watch 00 on cable. All of my bus adventures are now accompanied by news people. Yeah, I think they're kind of like in another dimension, so I'm not sure all those people at the bus can see them. But hey, if you want to smoke, and irritate me with your smoke because you're a Lizzo Jesuit, you're going to be famous. Yes, I will don my mask and say, oh, can't stand the smell. Put this on, And then I'll be on camera, and then they're going to pan and show everybody around me smoking to know why I had to do this, And then we'll say, that one's a Lizzo Jesuit. We'll probably highlight them. Lizzo Jesuit, all smoking here to irritate Gail. Yep. And yeah, we're going to deal with them as Lizzo Jesuits too. Yeah. I believe a lot of these people are taking money from Lizzo to smoke at the bus terminal. So you might say, oh, if you got a car, you wouldn't have to deal with that. Yeah. The problem is not the buses. The problem is the Lizzo Jesuits. Yeah. The solution is not to change my habits. The solution is to deal with the Lizzo Jesuits, okay? That's the solution. They're a handful. Yeah. So what I'm going to try to do is catch the bus. I actually have to pay, the bus fare is really dirt cheap in this town. So I got to pay an extra 50 cents to go catch the bus at another place, okay? To avoid what I'm going to try to do for routes 2 and 4, which are kind of far away from the main platform and where a lot of smokers go to town, is I'll try to catch them after they've left the transfer center and they're on their route. That's my plan, okay? Even if I have to take another bus to catch them that way, like I did yesterday. Well, I killed 2 birds in one stone, because the Route 10 bus takes me to the post office, and then from there I can check my P.O. box, and then catch the Route 2 bus I took to Botanical Gardens yesterday. Yeah, they're not going to mess this up for me. One way or the other, I will continue to ride the bus. And if you want to be a Lizzo Jesuit and make things difficult, well, you're going to be world famous, and everybody's going to see what an asshole you are. Yeah. You say, well, not everybody who smokes is an asshole. I agree. There are some nice people. In fact, my husband Brent used to be a smoker, and he's a very nice person, even when he was a smoker. But I think he would have been a polite smoker, okay? He wouldn't have deliberately blown smoke in my face just because he's trying to ruin my bus riding adventures. I'm not going to get a car. What a dumb suggestion. And let Baphomet destroy a $15,000 car within a month. Well, the solution to my problem is just I have to walk a little bit more to some of the Walmarts if they want to. You say, well, I can still get to some Walmarts. I mean, they can't completely eliminate the Walmarts. They're just making it so you have to walk more, okay? I'm not sure about this, but I think the Walmart CEO has accompanied me on some of my trips, and that he may have launched a class action lawsuit against the bus people here. And not only here, but I think nationwide, because the bus planners come out of San Francisco, and I believe they are not only planning routes for this city, but many other cities that are kind of making it difficult to go to Walmart. Yeah. So yeah, if that's the case, then the CEO has a case. You say, oh, he's paying you money to do this. No, this is just injustice. These city bus planners have no business planning the routes to discriminate against certain stores, okay? They should plan the routes so that we have easy access to the stores where the public likes to shop. And a lot of people like to shop at Walmart. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yep. So if you plan on being a pain in the neck at the bus terminal, hello, you're on camera. Yeah, I told Brent, make this nationwide news. You get to see all the atrocious behavior, the brazen, disgusting, vulgar behavior of Lizzo Jesuits, where 10 people out of 20 blow smoke in your face at a bus stop just to show you how disgusting they are. Just because they're trying to force me to get a car so that Lizzo can get me in a wreck and put me in a wheelchair. Yeah, basically. Lovely people. Yeah, or maybe within a month, all my savings would be depleted if I was dumb enough to get a $15,000 car. Within a month, Baphomet would ejaculate in all the holes, $15,000 down the drain. Boom. I wouldn't even be able to sell the car for anything. I'd be lucky if I just could sell it for parts. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, the solution to your problems is to never listen to a Lizzo Jesuit when they give you advice. Yeah. Not if you want to stay healthy and sane and have financial security. Never listen to them. They are the most unbalanced, obsessive, wicked, self-absorbed people in the universe and beings. Everything's about me, my rights. I have a right to be fat. Okay, good. You have a right to be fat. Fine, I have no problem with that. I agree. You have a right to be fat. But don't try to force me to be fat or to adopt your lifestyle if I'm not interested. If I happen to enjoy healthy foods, and if I want to breathe clean air, you have no right to force your filthy, disgusting habits on me. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, there's a very interesting interview of me on the Drunken Peasants. Oh, by the way, I wrote a Star Trek The Next Generation teleplay, which got rejected by Star Trek. And Brent Spiner had to pull it out of the garbage can. And the Drunken Peasants are going to be making like a production out of it. So that'll be cool. We'll be looking forward to that when it comes out. So yeah, I had to make my weekly video. And while I decided to show you some of my breakfast, here's my oatmeal. Yeah, I am not suffering. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're going to make it, maybe I might have to walk a little bit more to accomplish my objectives. But as a result of faithfully doing the Gale Commandments since 2013 to walk 30 minutes a day, I can walk like a healthy 30-something, okay? I'm in good shape. In fact, I probably can walk better than most 30-somethings in this country. Most people do not exercise. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm in good shape. And with all the great food that I'm eating, I need to walk to burn off all the calories. So yeah, I am not going to let these Lizzo Jesuits mess up my walks. Okay? And no, the answer is right now. Now, maybe when we defeat Lizzo, okay, maybe at that point, I might like a car. I got to admit, there is a Japanese gardens way, way out. The bus doesn't go out there that I would love to visit, which is only accessible by car. Okay? Maybe one of these days when we defeat the Lizzo Jesuits and it is safe for me to buy a car where I don't have to worry about Baphomet ejaculating in all the holes, where I can get out on the road and I have to deal with Lizzo Jesuit drivers, maybe then I can get one. In the meanwhile, I can go to the Botanical Gardens by bus. I went there yesterday. Me and Brent have been having all sorts of dates. Yeah, I think I've been to 10 restaurants this month. Yeah. I went to the Botanical Gardens Cafe twice, Olive Garden twice. One day, it was a Sunday, no bus service, I walked to the Olive Garden. And the waitress seemed to be a Lizzo Jesuit. I went to a sushi bistro. I've been to sushi bistros about 3 or 4 times. I went to another Japanese restaurant called Aki. I was thinking that the Red Lobster is going to be open on Sunday, but I am allergic to shellfish. And I'm reading the reviews about people that have been there, and they're saying that restaurant's not too clean. So that, nah. I think for tomorrow, for Christmas, I may just have a nice, plus they think it's going to rain. I may just have a nice, I'm planning on making a stir-fried dish with beef, bok choy, and carrots. And I got I went to the Asian store to get the bok choy and a red chili paste, which I'm going to put a little bit of that in there, not too much. But I've already made a cooking video for that. So I'll be making that. And yeah, I'm not. What they're doing, though, is they're trying to convince me that I need a car. Like, they know I love unwaxed dental floss. And I find it very strange that all the CVS's in this town are no longer stores. They've turned into doctor's offices. So there's only about 2 or 3 CVS's now that sell the unwaxed dental floss. And Jesus did tell me not to order online, so... But there is a Route 5 and 6 that does go to one of the CVS's here where I could get unwaxed dental floss. Or I could maybe try Oral-B Glide. Maybe I need to be flexible, you see? It's just that the unwaxed does a really good job taking off the tartar. I feel like I really cleaned my teeth. But, yeah, I'm doing well. And I've been getting free produce boxes. Right around this time of the year, my Medicare plan always gives me these produce boxes. And so I've been trying to use up, they gave me like 2 bags of carrots. That's why I'm going to make the bok choy with carrots. But I'm doing well. I cannot complain, okay? I'm definitely not starving. Can't you tell? Look at this. This is what I have for breakfast, just like every day. Blueberries, strawberries, probiotic yogurt, walnuts. There's some pear in here. I usually don't get pear, but that was part of my produce box. Orange wedges. I'm spoiled rotten now. Honest to God, I am not kidding you. If I wanted to, I am in a good enough financial situation now where I could eat lobster every day if I wanted to. So he was like, good grief. And you don't go get a car? I don't want one. I have less to worry about when I don't have a car. When I had a car, I was always worried about the car. I'm thinking, what did the Jesuits do to the car? What's the weather going to do to the car? Like when I was in Florida, if we had a hurricane, I was thinking, oh no, my car. What's the weather going to do to my car? Here we get, sometimes like in January and February, we get really cold weather. And if I had a car, I'd be worried about the car. I'd be thinking, oh no, my gas lines are going to freeze. I won't be able to start the car in the morning. I feel so free. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I'll let the bus people worry about their gas lines, right? It's so freeing not having to worry about that stuff. That's one advantage of not hoarding. Less stuff to worry about. So anyways, I had to make my YouTube video. All I can say is, now she's making me cough with her stinking mites. Oh yeah, she's been giving me these hip pains in my joints from the mites. Yeah, she's trying to say, you can't walk, you've got arthritis in your joints. No, that isn't arthritis, that's mite inflammation. Just like all of the bone loss I have in my teeth, it's all from Jesuit engineered germs. Yeah. Yeast, mites. Yeah, I actually have a bone infection. That's right, a bone infection in the root of a tooth. The same bone infection that I have here. It's an infection of the bone. Yeah. I asked Brent, how in the world are you dealing with this? He said, we're gradually replacing, these are shapeshifter mites. They actually take on the form of a bone cell. And they actually embed themselves into the bone and infect the bone. Almost like bone cancer, but it's not bone cancer. It's an infection of the bone. And that's what I've got right here in the root of one of my teeth. the typical dental response to be to extract the tooth. They'd say you got a crack in your root. It's not a crack in the root. It's a bone infection. And what they're doing is like, this is the mites. All I can say is when you're dealing with Lizzo, the solution is not always straightforward. You need to listen to Gabriel Chon of Fox News and work with our doctors who are up on what they're doing. You say, well, what are they going to do for that tooth? Well, yeah, because sometimes I'll get like pus. And this is after I had a root canal. And after I've been on antibiotics. These are shapeshifter mites. You say, oh, you need an implant. You need to extract that tooth. Nope. I don't think that's the answer. So what do I need to do with this bone infection here? Extract cut off the thumb and put on a new one? You see how insane that thinking is? No, what you have to do when you have a bone infection with mites is you've got to get in there and replace the embedded mites that have actually become part of your bone structure with regular bone cells. And it's a gradual process because she keeps shooting these bombs over our head filled with these mites. So you're constantly breathing them in. They're going to the infected parts of the body, and so it's like push and pull, push and pull. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with an antichrist named Lizzo, the creep from hell, okay? She is not content to keep her bad habits to herself. She's trying to force all of her problems on us, okay? And, yeah, we're just going to have to wait for our scientists to fix this. It'll help when we defeat the Jesuits. It would help if they would stop launching these bombs and causing us to inhale their mites. But, yeah, the solution when you're dealing with Jesuits is not necessarily what you would think. Everybody should be listening to 00 on cable. We should all be doing the Gale Commandments. Okay? And, yeah. You say don't go to the dentist. No, I have a good dentist. And he actually is right now, did a root canal, which I think was the right move because the cap of the tooth was put on the crown was put on a little crooked, and there was a hole where bacteria were getting down into the root, so they had to do the root canal. So that cap has been sealed. The problem is not only were bacteria getting down into the root, but mites were getting down there. And it got to the point where that root became like 90% of the bone structure was mites, embedded mites. So we got to kind of like change the it's almost like dealing with bone cancer, almost. Yeah. The treatment for mites that have infected a bone is probably very similar to treatment for a bone cancer. Yeah. What you have to do is remove the bad cells and replace them with good ones. The bad cells are the embedded mites. It's like a bone cancer. Yeah. You say, well, usually with cancer you remove. Yeah, but this isn't quite cancer, but it's kind of like a similar concept. Yeah. Well, what we're trying to do is switch and replace, like take out the bad mite bone cells and replace them with genuine bone cells. And it's like a genuine push and pull, push and pull. Yeah. It's not that uncomfortable, actually. And if I don't think about it too much, I mean, I've learned to live with low-grade pain. It's like, it's part of our existence, right? Like right now my hips hurt in the joints because there's mite inflammation there. What I'll do is I find when I go out and walk and maybe just push it a little bit, once the blood gets circulating and the medicine that my men put in the blood starts getting to that area and starts flushing out the mites, I'm able to walk. It gets better as I move. Yeah. Yeah, so Lizzo, what she wants to do is make you think, oh, you got arthritis. You can't move. It isn't arthritis. It's a mite infection. With most mite infections, I find that if I get moving, I feel better because the blood starts circulating, and then the medicine that my men have in the blood is able to remove the mites from the infected area, and then the inflammation goes down. So anyways, all I can say, when you're dealing with Lizzo, whatever you do not take advice from a Lizzo Jesuit. They're going to give you what is called standard advice, the advice that you would think would be common sense to solve the problem. But when you're dealing with Lizzo Jesuit technology, you need to understand her technology before you make a decision. Yeah. Okay? Yeah, we're not dealing with normal everyday technology. So what would seem like a solution could end up making things worse. So anyways, I did need to make a video. I'm doing great. I'm blessed. I spend time every day meditating, sipping my chamomile tea, and then when I get in a calm, non-obsessive frame of mind, I make my major decisions for the day. If I'm in a fearful, anxious mode, I tell myself, don't make any major decisions. Get yourself calm first. Because Satan operates on fear and doubt. So anyways, you guys, I am blessed. I get to live with my husband. He makes love to me all the time. And I am happy and at peace. And I will not let the Lizzo Jesuits try to manipulate me to become as vile and vulgar and disgusting as they are.
It's that time of year when joy is in the air. Snowflakes falling gently, love is everywhere. But there's a tale so strange, a story to be told, about pale poured sugar and friends find a love so bold. Christmas time with Gail and Brent, their love's a gift heaven sent. No Jesuits can tear them apart. Lizzo might sing, but this is their heart. They'll celebrate this Christmas night with love.